This is my entire skating history right here before your eyes. Before I start, I'll mention that my foot size is 43 in power slide system. As you know, all the systems are different. Say if I buy ASICs, I'd wear 45 or 46, some absolutely crazy number. When I ordered an adapt boot, they measured me as 42, which I think is the most realistic. If I buy Skechers, I'm gonna be 43 or 44. So yeah, every company pretty much follows their own system. All these boots are from Powerslide. I like that company from the beginning. I like their Trinity system even without checking out the UFS and USD mounts. Somehow, those benefits I heard about the Trinity system were sounding so convincing that I thought it was a way to go. I started skating with the Next boot. It's a hard boot, with a liner inside. Before the Next, it was some nameless rubbish skate I don't even want to mention. Needless to say that after that rubbish skate, Next was like a space shuttle combined with a Ferrari. The frame I used was the 4x90mm flat setup. Now about the boot. It doesn't exactly fit me well. There's not enough space for my big toe and it creates some issues. I can't skate for too long with this boot. I can of course push my foot towards the back of the boot, it helps actually. I can also put something below the inner sole to create an arc, or I can put something under the heel as well. And I can remove the inner sole too. But none of these fix the issue 100%. So actually what I'm planning to do is to use a heat gun on it and sort of heat mold the hard boot itself. I'm not going to buy a heat gun just for that cause. I believe skate shops do that. My overall conclusion about this boot. This boot is a workhorse. It can withstand a lot. You can throw it in the most dire skating situations, so to say. It's really stable. I think this boot could be a default to-go boot suiting the most people. Just remember about this problem with the big toe. Don't despair if it's slightly too small, just like in my case. Heat molding with a heat gun should help. I believe there's even videos on YouTube about that. So again, if you don't know which boot may work for you, I recommend to start with this Next. The price is also not too high. Then was the Swell boot. It's a fitness boot according to the Powerslide description. Needless to say that it became my favorite boot after the Next. What I really absolutely loved about this boot is how easy it was to put it on and off. If I had to commute on skates, this would be my choice. They are just meant for a chilled, relaxed skating experience. Imagine, say, you're going out for a trip somewhere, and you may have to put your skates on and off 10 times a day. The boot needs to be extremely comfortable to wear. Powerslide's Swell boot manages to combine a very chill, relaxed and enjoyable skating experience, suitable for really long skating journeys, while being able to hold your foot well enough and basically remaining a good skating boot. The downside of this boot, in my opinion, is that it's very hard to make it super tight. This is the price you pay for comfort, and you really may need it if you're a certain type of skater. For me, it's very important to hold my foot super tight. Overall, Powerslide Swell is a great boot. I just love it. Then I had a Hardcore Evo boot. It was the best boot in my experience so far. I can describe it as it gives me a feeling that there is no boot at all. It fits my foot perfectly. I can tighten it up easily with 2 ratchet straps. When I bought it, there was a small issue. The tongue was digging into my ankle too much, creating a painful experience. But it was only in the beginning when the boot was still new. It disappeared very quickly and this boot just became a definition of perfection to me. As I said, it just feels like there's no boot. I just can't add anything more to it. It seems weird and shameful that the best boot I had has the least amount of words I can tell about it, because it's just perfect, nothing more to say. Now this new boot I bought, Tau. I've been eyeballing these boots since I started skating. That design just always attracted me. I love slim boots, like Hardcore Evo and Tau. I love their sleek look, like a sport car. I wore it only once so far, and I recorded it. You can find a video on my channel. First impression was just as I expected. It's the closest relative of Hardcore Evo. It feels the same, the sizing is the same, and I can judge by how it felt on my foot, it was the same, which was exactly what I expected. Tau boot felt slightly shorter than Hardcore Evo, very slightly. Because in the Evo boot I have a little bit of space between the tip of my toes and the tip of the boot. But in Tau boot there is just no space, and actually even visually you can see that the tip of Tau boot is not as pointy as Hardcore Evo. But again, I believe if one boot matched you, the other will match with high probability, even though they are slightly different. I had the same unpleasant feeling at the top part around my ankle, like with Hardcore Evo boot in the beginning, but I believe it will go away with time, just like it happened with the Hardcore Evo boot. Ratchet straps are good, they are the same on both boots. The Tau boot has insoles unlike the Evo boot. Now comparing Tau with Evo. Looks like the calf part in Evo is much softer. However, I never noticed any lack of support in this boot. But you can see on the video how much softer it is. Tau calf is pretty stiff. The tip of Hardcore Evo boot seems firmer to me. The tip of Tao boot is wider, you can clearly see it, so maybe Tao will be slightly better for people with wider foot. The length seems very similar, but according to my own experience, I have slightly more space for my toes in Hardcore Evo boot. The rest looks pretty similar. It looks like Tao heel is slightly higher than the Evo heel, but I can't be 100% sure here. I believe such information has to be in the specs. The heel of the Evo boot is visually much more narrow than the Tao boot, but when I skated I didn't feel any difference. Tao boot is also visually wider around the toe joint area. Materials are different too, the Tao boot looks like more leathery. These are all the differences that I could spot so far. I'm pretty sure that there will be more as I skate, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching my video. Bye now.